These are stories about my reluctant and courageous journey into understanding my emotions and what I learned. I'm super grateful for the questions you ask because they are helping to guide this fantastical adventure. This week's topic comes from Angie, who wanted to know how to get through feeling useless and worthless, which means this week's topic is about getting through feeling useless and worthless. In the previous video, I talked about how I got through a time I felt worthless. In this video, I'll talk about how I started to realize I wasn't useless or worthless, and I don't know why I'm having trouble with those S's, but I am. In the next video, I'm focusing on a time when I knew I wasn't useless or worthless. In the next video, we'll meditate, hopefully with not so many S's. And in the last video, it'll be the fridity, where I bring it all together, get a little more poetic, and make sense, and nerdy, and make sense of the journey. I'll do it all. Anyway, all the videos will appear in the playlist Feeling Useless and Worthless. So, if you have a question like Angie did, comment below or DM me on Instagram. I'm Angela, and this is me making sense of myself. So when is a time that I felt useless and worthless and started to realize that I mattered? So this might seem like a really small moment to you, and perhaps in some ways it is. It just had a lot of big emotions that came with it, and it only happened this week. So I had gone to get my hair trimmed because it was starting to look really icky, and I scheduled online, and I walked in, and I'm seeing someone new. So at this particular hair salon, it felt like, I was at the very front of the salon where everyone waiting could see me and probably hear what I had to say or do. And when I came in, I had my hands in my hand muff, so no one could see that my hands don't work right. And even if they could see them, chances are they wouldn't look hard enough to notice that there's some deformities due to my disability. So the lady calls me over to the chair, and I sit down. She puts the cape on me, and then starts to spin me and hand me a mirror. And I'm like, in this moment, like, this is the moment I'm talking about. Like, all these thoughts are going through my head. For instance, she should know that my hands aren't working right. And then all of a sudden the next thought came, well, how would she know? I haven't told her. Well, I need to tell her. Well, how do I say this today? And what am I going to say? And I'm feeling like in that moment, I'm kind of frozen with this useless sensation or this idea that because I can't hold this mirror, I'm useless. I can't even do that. At least in this situation, for the one thing she was asking me to do. Otherwise, I was just there to get my hair cut. So I just looked at her and I said, yeah, so my hands are deformed and they don't work right. I don't think I can hold the mirror. And then it was this concern. There was this concern about the judgment. And like, why? What did all these other people think? What was she thinking? Was it okay? Because she still tried handing me the mirror, and the feelings that are going on is, I think, a little confusion, because I had already said, hey, I don't think I can hold that. And I don't think she really understood until, so then, with me in this confusion, I'm like, well, I guess I'll try and do this. And so then she kind of propped it on my hands, and I held it for 2 seconds and then started to go down, and she grabs it out of my hands. But I don't think it really hit home until she had the experience of seeing what it was like for me in that situation. And that makes it really hard as someone with a disability and someone who struggles. What do I need to prove to everyone? That I don't have the capacity to do the things that they think I should be able to do? And I think that's actually based on their experience of life, and so their experience of life is, well, it's super easy to hold this mirror. It's super light, it was, I don't know, maybe 8 ounces or so. Like, I really don't know, because I don't try to hold things a lot. But like, I, in some ways, could have gotten really mad at her and gotten up and walked out. And I have gotten mad in situations before, and I've thought, oh my gosh, why can't they see I'm struggling? Well, and a lot of times me putting that on them was me blaming the other person for not understanding that I was struggling. But how would they? So I think sometimes I need to get better at using my words. It's not that I'm useless. I have value, and I have value because I exist, just like you do. It's, how do I say this in a way, or how do I communicate this, and are they going to be able to hear me? Because sometimes we can communicate just perfectly to the other person in our life or other people, but they don't get it. They're not on the same wavelength. It's, for me, I try to remember that when I listen to someone else, I'm still interpreting their words through my experience of what those words mean, or my experience, or even the emotion I'm feeling in the moment. So let's say I hadn't walked into the hair salon super relaxed and just being like, well, I'm gonna go get my hair cut, and it's the beginning of the day, so usually I'm much better at managing my emotions at that time of day. I could have just gotten frustrated and be like, how come you don't hear me? But I also know that we all experience, there's this language barrier. Even when we all know the same language, we all communicate differently. So I think it's using my voice. So, recognizing, ooh, I don't like this feeling, and of feeling useless or worthless or incapable of holding the mirror. And I think the reality of it is, I really want to be able to hold the mirror. So it's really easy for me to go into, well, I'm useless, or angry that I can't because I think I should. But I've gotten to that point where I've recognized that maybe just because I think I should doesn't mean I can. And my life just happens to look different than someone else's life. There was a quote I heard the other day, something about like, diversity is what was created, and that's all that exists, or something like that. Like, we think we want everything to be similar, and yet only diversity exists. Like, if you look around, like, even if I just look in front of me, the camera is not like the screen is not like the microphone is certainly not like my water bottle. These are diverse things, and if that's what's on my desk, imagine the difference that there are in all the different people in this world. And isn't that beautiful? And aren't we lucky? So I think one of the signs that I will notice to know that I'm definitely more than useless in the future is, first, that the feeling of uselessness came up, and then I will continue to remember that because I exist, I have value. And just because we can't communicate well about it in that moment doesn't mean that I don't have value. It absolutely doesn't mean that. If anything, it absolutely means I do have value, and someday they'll figure that out. I would love to hear from you. When was a time you realized that you mattered? These videos will be located in the playlist Feeling Useless and Worthless. I'm Angela, and this is me making sense of myself.